former governor of Imo State, Chief Emeka Ihedioha, CON. Thank you very much indeed for coming in.
Thank you very much, Charles.
It took everything to bring you here.
Charles, I gave you my word that,
yes. And you kept your word. So I want to thank you very much indeed.
Thank you.
We'll talk about the Rebuild Imo movement a little bit later in this conversation, but first let's talk about your resignation. Did you jump or were you pushed?
Thank you, Charles. It was something that was bound to happen. Insofar as the tendencies operating the party remained there. For quite some time, the warning shots were very clear. Just before the elections, yeah, there were issues, but it made sense for us to get into the election convinced to regain power at the federal level and number of states. But of course, a number of things happened. But after the elections, then the issues came to the fore. And quite a number of us called for needs for discussions and resolutions of issues that had arisen. Now, rather than addressing those issues and responding to the barrage of demands, what you kept seeing was a further drift to the desires of the people, which, like I stated, were very much inconsistent with the vision and mission of the founding fathers of our party, which I would say had the privilege of being a founding member right back in 1998. Then my capacity as Director of Publicity of the People's Democratic Movement. And so to see your party got to the point where we got to, and then we were on a descent that was very undesirable. I felt there was need. I mean, if you continued on that path, it might derail you as a person and then derail the intentions and, of course, your lodge followership. So acted essentially based on the desires of my large followership and, of course, my support base and my base back at home and nationally who felt the party had lost its bearing. And there was need for us to forge ahead. So we've been on it for quite a while.
Well, I mean, let me say that it was a bit of a surprise and a shock when that happened. I mean, certainly to those on the outside, yes, because I suppose for people on the inside, they might have been expecting it. But it's been said that as you yourself pointed out, the vultures had been circling for a while, and the people who wanted to take over power in Imo State using the PDP as their vehicle saw you as being in the way and did everything they could to block you from that power. So in a sense, you were forced to resign. Is that how it unfolded?
I couldn't have been forced to resign. Now, what happened was that PDP had stopped presenting itself as a party that could eventually form government by their recent actions. It was obvious. Nigerians no longer perceive them. And as a policy perception, don't perceive them as a party ready to take over at the national or state level. In the last governorship election in the state, for us, that was our most dismal. I mean, PDP not winning one single local government area in Imo State. When in 2019 I ran, we didn't have one single member in the House of Assembly, but I led the party to victory. We won 13 seats in the House of Assembly, leaving the AA and AD with 8 and 6 respectively. And so and then I won the governorship then with close to 100,000 votes difference to the opponent. And then so coming just in 2023, you see dismal performance, and nothing is being done to get the party, positioned to get back power. So it became necessary that we took actions because, I mean, we saw operators of the party who are recalcitrant and averse to reasoning with opinion that will put the party back in the shape it was.
So it wasn't you or them who lost confidence in you. You were the one who lost confidence in them.
Imo people have huge confidence in me, as you can see from his
results. How can anyone lose confidence?
No, it's not possible. I mean, across the parties, across the people of Imo State, and of course indeed Nigerians, they know Ihedioha is a solid character.
So given all that, what damage do you think your resignation would or could do to the PDP?
Well, back home in Imo, I don't know when last it happened or if it ever did, that I resigned, and quite honestly, I never made calls to say I'm leaving the party. It was that morning when I felt, after my mom's memorial service on Sunday, on Monday, on Tuesday, I said I took my decision. In fact, my wife had traveled that morning. I just called her as she arrived at Abuja. I said, look, I'm taking this decision. And spontaneously, you see a deluge of people who are successful in different ways, who are political leaders across the 305 political wards and about 4,800 chapters in the political party resigning en masse. I mean, that speaks volumes. You couldn't have forced them. I couldn't have paid for that. It is a vote of confidence in me. It's a vote of confidence in what we believe in, a vote of confidence in our desire to get back our state, get democracy to work, and get a platform that can bring like minds together to pursue.
Right.
To pursue progress.
Well, we're going to come to what you intend to do next in a minute, but along that trajectory, you haven't defected to another party. You simply resigned from the PDP. But there's a lot of speculation about where things go from here in your political career. Where have you set your sights? Are plans for your next move taking shape?
Charles, I'm still under 60, so I should be considered to be politically very active, and obviously I'll play politics. And I stated in my resignation letter from the PDP that I'll work with other forces to ensure we continue to enthrone and entrench democratic party. So yes, that is on. Consultations are ongoing. I'm discussing with a lot of friends. A lot of people called me to say what's next. And of course, different political parties desirous of forging a relationship with us.
Well, let's talk about those other political parties, because
too early in the day to talk.
Well, I mean, it's
I represent a movement in the States.
Sure, no, I understand that. Yes. I'll talk about the movement, but let's just clear the air when it comes to.
But there are several. How many political parties?
Well, I mean, it's been reported that you may be joining the APC.
Several political parties.
It's been suggested that it may be the Labour Party. Both parties are reported to apparently be reaching out to you. Is that a fact?
Charles, several political parties in the country have been reaching out to me. Ihedioha is a good brand, positive brand at that. Yeah, that's true. And so they are talking to me, they are talking to birds. I have a political family. And for me, it's a we. It's not an I thing. And so we will continue to talk. We look at the issues, we look at local variables, and we look at the national political climate, and we take a decision what we consider the best at the very appropriate time.
But you can say with confidence that you are that much of a self-contained winner with your own winning structure.
Certainly, Charles, see, my political trajectory is very clear.
Right.
And I thank God that I have managed my polity well, which is not defined by greed. I have managed to be modest in my desires, working hard to ensure that the people matters most. So I think I'm in bed with the people of Imo State. I'm in bed with a large populace in this country who still find our values. Those are related with our different levels, be it in the PDP, the National Assembly, various fora. Talk to me, and I absorb what they see and then distill it, and then we take a decision that we consider that will be in the best interest of the vast majority of our people.
Right, but beyond the confident talk, which is clearly coming from you at this point, and I mean, I don't think anybody would expect anything less, would it be fair to say that whether you admit it or not, your political future is now more precarious and unpredictable now that you've left the PDP?
No, it cannot. It can be unpredictable. I mean, it can be precarious.
Well, it is unpredictable.
No, yes, it can. Yes, it can be. It can be precarious. I am whom I am. And Charles, in 2020 January, I was taken out of office by the Supreme Court. I thank God. We still have life with us, and God has been kind and gracious to us. And so it wasn't precarious at that time. And so that we are still on our feet up till now. We thank Almighty God and thank the people of the state and Nigeria who have confidence in us. So we'll move from there. One thing I've done is I've resigned from the People's Democratic Party. And so we'll keep looking forward. Yes.
And you mentioned the fact that you were removed from office by a court. Since that time, you've watched politics, in a sense, from afar. What have you learned about Nigerian politics since then?
Nigerian politics is evolving and will continue to evolve. Maybe challenging now, appearing unpredictable now, but I'm very confident that the future is brighter, and that's why I'm still active in politics. I am very certain that we'll get there.
And I mean, you've had, nobody can deny that you've had something of a distinguished career near the top of Nigerian politics. Obviously, as we said, that ended with your removal as governor of Imo State by a court. I mean, has your political career evolved the way that you expected, or have you been surprised by it?
Well, I must say, God has been gracious, I did say. Perhaps when I began politics, I did not get to this level, but I imagined that I needed to prepare myself for eventualities, and yes, I've had privileges and opportunities, and I think at each time I've been privileged to be in an office. I've made the best out of it. I've judiciously represented my people and discharged myself equitably.
And you haven't had the EFCC coming after.
be it as chairman,
coming after you,
be it as chairman of House Committee on Marine Transport, my records are clear. I mean, we had quite a distinctive career and got many bills passed and signed into law, be it as Chief Whip of the House of Reps, be it as Deputy Speaker of the House. And of course, for the 7 days I stood in as Speaker, and then be it as Governor, we brought about confidence into governance for the people of our state. And I think we remain a positive reference point at times. I mean, when I chaired the House Committee on Constitutional Review, we came up with issues that would have redefined our nation. Unfortunately, our efforts didn't get to its conclusion because the president at the time did not sign the bills passed into law. Cause to be very grateful to God, yes.
And as we mentioned previously, I don't mean to be banging on about it, your career was brought to an abrupt halt by what some of your supporters have called legal maneuverings. How much have those legal machinations affected or eroded your trust in the judiciary?
Well, just like most Nigerians, as I know, were shocked at the outcome of the judgment of the Supreme Court, but I'm a believer in the Nigerian system.
What was it about it that shocked you?
No, I won the election. Clearly, and INEC had my name as the winner of the election up till November 11, 2023, when the next elections took place. I mean, so for INEC, Ihedioha won the elections clearly with close to 100,000 vote margin. And so I didn't see where it was coming. But like I said, when you believe in the system in your country, all you say, to God be the glory.
So what is your strategic aim at this point in your political life? I know you've spoken broadly about building, helping to entrench democracy. I mean, you know, those are fairly broad words. I mean, what is your strategic aim at this point of your political life? What is your clear political ambition now?
Charles, I said, I am still under 60, nearing 60, and so I'm very much politically active. It's difficult to say this is what it is, but I think I will still be useful to the Nigerian nation and useful to my state, and will continue to work towards this. And I believe that this step I've taken is indeed a step towards that accomplishment.
People have described you as a very pragmatic politician.
Yes.
A politician with a lot of hindsight and foresight and insight. And so they watch you to see the parapraxis of your political movement, and they use that to kind of assess what is happening with Nigerian politics. And of course, you left the PDP. A lot of people now think